Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. It's time for the Jess-umentary. Now, if you are new to this and you don't know what the Jess-umentary is, the idea is very simple. I am here with Jess Howard. Jess Howard is an incredibly talented magician. She's 17 years old, and her goal is to become a full-time professional magician. And we're going through everything that we need to go through to literally go from a standing start through to being a Las Vegas headliner, basically. And you can go check out all the previous episodes of the Jess-umentary on the channel. There's a playlist set up for Jess if you've not seen any. But if you have, you know how amazing she is. And we're going to catch up and we're going to see where we are and see what the next course is for world domination. Jess, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Jess. I'm guessing you're going back to school soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, sucks. Yeah, Ryland went back today, and he's not very happy about it at all. So,
No.
yeah, I get that. I get that completely. But I want to have a bit of a catch up with you about stuff that's gone on over the summer, stuff that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, and kind of, and then talk about the business side of things, talk about where we are, just kind of have a bit of a catch up and see what's working and what's not working so well. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So first of all, while I was in Blackpool, you had the performance at the retirement village, right? The your first stage performance. And
Yeah.
from memory, you were going to do some close-up magic first of all, and then a half an hour show. So talk me through how that went. Because here's, did you manage to video it?
Yeah, but it's kind of a bad video because like there's people kind of walking in front of it all the
Mm.
time. But yeah, I did get it just to watch back. Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me, I'm sure you've watched it back now. It's really important to like analyze every performance that you've done, especially with the fact that this was your proper first stage performance. So tell me how the close up went. Tell me how the stage work went. Tell me what went right. Tell me what went wrong. Yeah, yeah. Fill me in. Go for it. What you got?
Um, so the stage performance was good, I think. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. And I think at least what a few people kind of told me that the ropes was kind of their favorite part, the fiber optics, like Professor's Nightmare, that kind of
So what
stuff.
what was the set again? Just for people, what was
The
the
what, sorry?
exact set on the
Oh, the
exact
set.
set? So the set.
Fiber optic stuff with the ropes.
Yeah.
Um, they're kind of like balloon strings, and then there's strings from balloons, which were the
Okay.
ropes, and then card to balloon,
Oh wow.
and then invisible deck, but like in a bag,
Hmm.
and then think drink and chop cup.
Oh wow. That's cool. That's amazing. That's a really good set. And was it based a little bit on your thing that you did for the YNC the previous year, the summer holiday thing, or was it
Yeah,
just?
it had like a loose summer theme, like yeah. And what I did with the think drink is because I realized it'd be too hard to do the get them to kind of because I had a plan, which would because I wanted them to kind of choose. I was gonna get them to write and post-it notes during the first bit of the show, but I realized that would probably be quite difficult. And I'm pleased I did that because when I was doing the close-up, they didn't really know what. I'll get to that in a second, but I basically had them when I was doing the close-up, had them all write down their favorite drink on a post-it note and scrunch it up, and then I they picked them out later in the stage to
Mm,
get
okay.
that done. So that was pretty good for stage. For close up, some of the people it went really good with, but
Hmm.
others they couldn't really hear me very well. So that was quite difficult. But um I found ways around it, but it wasn't it just wasn't as good as my normal close up because of that, if you know what I mean.
Because you're having to deal with people not being able to hear you, and that would throw you in the moment. Yeah, I totally get
Yeah.
where you're coming from. Yeah, okay. But overall, I mean, the most important you can do close up in your sleep. The most important part was the stage show,
Yeah.
and you felt that went really well.
I think so, yeah. I mean it could have
Okay,
been better, but it definitely could have been worse, yeah.
okay. So, what one thing could you have done to make it better?
Well, the wait, I'm just thinking back now. Oh, the think drink part. It was quite unfortunate because they didn't have a very high table, so I'm a bit worried that I was kind of too low down for people to, so people may have seen the setup. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was the main issue. And yeah,
Okay. What was your performance based on? You had a table up there, did you?
yeah,
Some sort of table. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what can you learn from that first show? If I said to you, you've got to do another show tonight, Jess, and you've got to do the exact same set, what would you do? What would you improve to make it better
Um,
outside of the table thing?
I'm just thinking a minute. Um, I maybe would spend a bit longer kind of talking to the people as opposed
Mhm.
to just because like just mainly doing the magic. If you know, not like obviously there's some bits where they're like helping me, but it's just from their seats just because
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I maybe would have spent a bit longer on them, if you know what I mean, just kind of talking it through a bit slower and clearer. Yeah.
And what was your opening? What was your opening script? Like, what did you? I know that you do a lot to music. Did you come out and do something to music, or did you come out and speak to the audience? And if you did, what did you say?
I just came out and spoke. It's been a week or so since I watched the video back, so it was something along the lines of I did kind of a thing which you suggested about getting them warmed up with the
Hmm.
cheers and stuff, and I was kind of like, "Hello, my name is Jess, and I'm a magician, and I'm delighted to be here today to perform for you all. This is going to be a very interactive show, so I need your energy to be through the roof. We want the neighbours to think there's a party going on in here. Let's give it a go now,"
That's
type of
great.
thing. Yeah,
That's great. And then you went. What was your first trick? Was fiber optics, and that was when you had the balloons and
yeah,
yeah, it's a great premise. Brilliant. Okay, awesome. That's good. Next question that I've got for you is obviously good news, by the way. You're at the Rugeley Rose show on the 13th, obviously, which
yeah,
we've been promoting, and so on and so forth. But we're going to have we're going to have a videographer there, videoing the whole thing from a couple of different angles. So in terms of getting
nice.
the show reel for you and getting assets for you for your website, you're going to have some really nice footage that we can use to put a show reel together. And I'll probably help you put the show reel together on one of these calls. We'll do it together. So I can show you how to edit a show reel
Nice.
live over Zoom. I think that'd probably be a fun thing to do.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're going to have a ton of footage from there. But obviously, you're doing there on the 13th the act that you are doing as the J Day auditions, which will be
yeah,
the following Saturday on the 20th. Is that right?
yeah,
Brilliant. So how are you? How is that act coming together? It's 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
yeah.
Probably a week and three quarters or something like that.
Um, it's It's coming together. I think
Hmm.
the second half's more together than the first half. I'm having a few problems with the first half, but I'm managing to fix them at the moment. Um, but I think the second half is kind of harder stuff than the first half, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get. It's just basically I've got a pretty solid end, a pretty solid start, but the middle's still a bit blurry. But I'm working it out. I've got ideas, not practiced for middle yet, but I think it will be fine.
Well, I saw your Instagram, and I saw just before we started this call, and I saw the the video of you kind of you were in a dress and then you had a cane and the cane turned into two silks and then you used that to change the dress. That looked brilliant. That looked
Thank
brilliant.
you.
Like really, really good.
Thank you.
I know nothing about quick change. Nothing at all. You made that yourself.
Yeah. Well, as I've said previously, um, I made the quick change element, but I bought the dresses. I've changed the
Yeah.
dresses so I didn't have to sew them together, basically. But yeah, I've made them into quick change dresses myself. Yeah.
That's insane. And how did you teach yourself that? Was that based on like watching a video or just like
Just
I
kind of
have an
working it
idea of
out.
how this works, so I'm going to just try and figure out a method myself.
Yeah. Basically, I was gonna get some like like with books on it, but they're really expensive. They're like £100 each or something. So I thought I'll just do it myself. And it's not perfect. They're not perfect, but they're better than I thought they might be. So yeah,
That as a non-quick changey person who's never done a quick change in their life, that looked great. That
thank
looked
you.
really, really magical, really, really good. Especially as most of the time when you see quick change, and basically a layman when it comes to quick change, but when you see quick change, it's normally like somebody covers themselves up with a blanket or a hoop for like 5 minutes and then jiggling it around. And with that, you were just like done. There was very little cover. It was just like it was really good.
Thank you.
There you go. From a non-quick changey person, that looked really good. Okay, so and obviously if you get through to the J Day, that'll be filmed as well, right? Which will be
Yeah.
great because then you've got two lots of footage. You've got footage from J Day, but you've also got footage from the Rugeley show as well. And obviously it needs to be less than 10 minutes. So how long have you got like timing is so important on these competitions. I've seen so many people that put competition acts together, and what happens is they go over and they get disqualified. Have you got a plan to make sure that you stay within time?
Yeah, because it's all to music. So it's
Also, you've edited together one track
yeah,
that covers oh, brilliant. That's great. Well, that's the best way to do it. That's what
yeah.
Ryland and Thea are doing as well. That's absolutely the best way to do it. Awesome. So how long is the act?
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Perfect. That's great. Amazing. Well, we don't need to talk about that anymore. Your social media is going really well. It looks like the act's going really well. That's phenomenal. Obviously, you had the gig at the. How, did did you one more question about the gig that you did? Obviously, it was a retirement village. Did you get feedback from them at the end? Did they
Um,
say anything to you?
the kind of event. What do you mean by feedback? Just like, did they
Like,
say
did they
anything?
did they say, "Oh, thanks for coming," and or anything like that? Or
Yeah, yeah. The person who kind of organizes it said like, "Thanks for coming," and then she said, in like they were thinking of having a I wasn't really sure, but they was she was talking about how like in a few months' time they were thinking of having like a garden party for the residents and their families, and that she'd love to have me back to come and do some more then if I wanted to.
that's great. Well, I mean, you don't get invited back to venues if you're not doing a good job. So that's awesome, and yeah, I mean that's great. Yeah, that's that. Anytime that you get told, "Hey, we'd love to have you back again," that's a win. That's absolutely 100% a win. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So, what else has been going on? So you've been working on your social media. I know you've been putting a lot of focus into building your act and getting your act ready and working towards this performance at this retirement village. Have you done anything else in terms of generating leads for your website? Because we talked a few different things through, and obviously the website's gone live now. Have you done anything in terms of pushing people through to that website?
Um,
If you haven't, that's fine, because that's what we're going to
wait, I
go
can't
through.
remember. Was it? Yeah, we've had a call since it was like on the Instagram and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we talked about really
yeah.
kind of getting the Instagram up and running.
Um,
Have you got a link to your website on the Instagram? I can't
yeah,
remember.
it's in my bio. Yeah.
It's in your bio. Brilliant. Okay, good, 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 good,
Um,
good.
I mean, I've added the videos page on my no, on my website, which we talked about
Oh,
last
hang
week.
on.
The just
Let's just have a look at that quickly.
it
Let me
doesn't have the
just get.
latest video on because I only posted it last night, but I'll add that today. And I changed just like the names and stuff, like you said. But in terms of generating traffic, I suppose there's not really anything along that.
Well, we're gonna look now at what we are going to do. Okay, we're gonna have a look at all of this. But I'm gonna punch Google up. Right. Okay. Boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. So let me just share the screen for a minute. You should be able to see me, my screen, if I hit share. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Cool. So we're gonna put in Jess Howard Magician. Jess Howard Magician. Boom. Okay, so the good thing is you come up there. That's good. You also come up in gig heaven. Did you add
Yes, I added that one. Yeah.
brilliant, good stuff. So this is good because it's already starting indexing on if you remember when we started doing this, we typed in Jess Howard Magician, nothing came up about you. Like you didn't exist. But now you're coming up, your Instagram is there, which is fantastic. Your about page on your website is coming up, which is good. Your Facebook page, oh, Gig Heaven's Facebook page is coming up, which is fine. Oh, but your Facebook page is coming up as well. Your TikTok's coming up. Lots of different videos of you. See, that looks way more healthy, which is fantastic. And you put yourself an ad to event, Jess Howard. You put yourself an ad to event as well.
Yeah, I've done the profiles as well this week for Bark
Brilliant.
and Ad for Event.
Brilliant stuff. Good, 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 good. Right. Now, over here, this is obviously your Google My Business, which you set up, which is great. Um, we need to get some reviews on there, Jess.
Yeah.
So, step one, let's get some reviews up on Google. Okay.
Yeah.
I told you about Google review cards, didn't I?
Yeah, I've ordered one and it's on the way.
Brilliant. Just get everyone to leave a review for you. Just get as
Okay.
many people as possible to leave a review. Show them magic. Get everyone to leave a review, and get into the habit of this. Um, what am I talking about? This retirement village that you did.
Yeah.
Send them an email. Just send them an email going, it was fantastic performing for you and all of your residents. I hope you enjoyed it. You mentioned a future date. I'd love to come and perform for you again. Please just drop me an email when you know when that would be. And in the meantime, don't in the meantime, I've just set up a Google page for my business, and it would mean the world for me if you could leave a review. All you have to do is just click on the link below, and you'll be able to leave a review immediately. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then you can get a review link for Google My Business. So you can get a review link. I'm not too sure how to do it. If you just Google
Yeah,
how to get
I
a,
think I've got it
yeah,
when I just
cool.
click
So
on
just
reviews on
send them a
Google.
link, and when they click on that link, it will open up the review page of Google My Business. So then all they have to do, like here, if I was going to leave a review, I just click. And you know what? I am leaving a review. Because I've watched you many times. I have watched Jess many times perform magic, and she is fantastic. Uh, in fact, I have booked her for an event in September. If you are looking for an amazing magician for your next event, definitely, I can't spell definitely, you should absolutely speak to Jess. Boom, post. There you go. You got a
Yeah.
review. And I've earned 11 points. Look at that. It's a win for both of us. Possibly go wrong. Right. So that'll pop up soon, but you want to try and get as many of those as possible.
Yeah.
Click on the website. Let's see where we are. This website is now very, very cool, which is great. Let's have a look. Close-up services. This goes through to, I'm trying to remind myself. Yeah, this goes through to, yeah. Great, great, great. I wouldn't call it just a small point. Close-up walk around, close-up table. I would call it close. I small point, but close-up table sounds weird. So I'd maybe go with close-up walk around magic or close-up table magic,
Okay.
potentially. Uh, that's great. Um, Social media videos. excellent. And you click on watch more videos, and that's going to go to a videos tab. It would be worth, oh, you've got it here. Very good. It would be worth having a video tab, but you have, so that's great. So that's awesome. Testimonials. Have I told you? I would put a link to Google here as well.
Yeah, I was going to do that when I got the first Google reviews because I didn't think there
You've
was.
just got your first Google review.
Yeah,
There you go. Win.
amazing.
Yeah. So pop yourself a Google review thing on there. That would be really good. Services. Yes, I looked at that. That's great. About. I saw this before and I never said anything. But I'm going to say it now. The story is great, but it's a lot of text.
Yeah,
What I would do is I would take these images and I'd move them up to within this text. So the text kind of wraps around the images so that
yeah,
the text is kind of, sorry, the images are breaking up the text, if that makes sense. I wouldn't have like text block, picture, text blocks, picture. They can just look a bit disjointed. But with Wix, you can take that and you could put it over there, for example, and then it'll come kind of around and so on and so forth. I just
okay.
use and maybe have another couple of pictures in here
Yeah,
that you can use to wrap around. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Have you got any pictures? And also, don't forget, having a website is all about getting people to know you and like you and trust you. So, have you got a picture of yourself at Blackpool
probably.
when you
Yeah,
went to because here, the year 2025, I went to my first Blackpool convention, the biggest one in the world. I thought YMC was the pinnacle of inspiration. I was wrong. This was on another level. The Winter Garden filled with thousands of seemingly ordinary people. I would have a picture of that there. So I would allow the pictures to actually help illustrate the story. So the one of you on Britain's Got Talent, you can use that where you talk about Ryland. The one on with you on the stage at the YMC, you can use that when you talk about the YMC. I just think rather than just having a couple of arbitrary pictures at the bottom, you can use those pictures to help illustrate the story that you're telling as part of your about us section.
okay.
The other thing that I would do, and I've mentioned to you before, that you need to have a blog. And I know you're looking into blogs and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Other thing that I would do that I think would fit this website very well is have an FAQ page.
yeah,
Now in Wix, you can have an FAQ page. I think that again, I know I keep using Thomas Maloney's website as an example of what to do. But let's have a look here. Hang on. Pretty sure he has an FAQ page that you can look at. Or he might not have. No, he hasn't. I've got another friend who would have one. Let me just think for a minute. Okay. Jeremy, I think. Yeah, okay. So this is my friend Jeremy, who's an incredible magician over in America. Like he is phenomenal. I mean, this website is just brilliant. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's got a quote from me. Very exciting.
yeah,
But this is the sort of thing. If you look at his frequently asked questions, so he's got a frequently asked question page here. So, and you can do this on Wix where there's a load of questions, and when they click on it, the answer pops up. So, do you only offer card magic? Click, boom, and it comes up. So I show you Jeremy's website just to show you how I think the FAQ page should be created. But there's a reason for creating. Let me get you back. There's a reason for creating the FAQ page. It does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it allows you to answer any questions that people might have, and it allows you to promote yourself in that way as well. So the answer should be factual, but also very kind of salesy in a way. So, but it should try and cover questions that people might ask, like, What's the difference between close-up magic and stage magic? How long would you book a close-up magician for? How long would you book a stage magician for? Do you do children's parties? Can you balloon model? I don't know, a million different questions like that. But what you can do then, so first of all, is you can answer all of the questions in a way. So, for example, if it was the question about do you do close, how long would a close-up magic performance take? You could say, well, it very much depends on the event. Most people tend to book for a 2-hour session, which tends to be enough. However, you can have longer or shorter depending on, that sort of thing. Kind of make it a little bit salesy. But what you can do, and we've talked about the importance of blogs, because what blogs are going to do is it's going to help with your SEO and it's going to help with your search engine optimization. You can use the FAQs as the basis for the blogs that you're writing. So let's say, again, using that example as one of the questions, one of the FAQs is, can you, how long is a close-up magic performance for? You can answer it briefly in the FAQs, and you can say, well, blah 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 blah, 2 hours, and then you can say, click here where I wrote a blog all about the length of time that you should book a close-up magician for. And then you can write a blog that's got something like, how long should you book a close-up magician for? And you can write that blog, and that blog can be linked through to the FAQ page. And you write the FAQs based on what you think people would be searching for, because then you're showing up as the results. So you could even, what areas do you perform in? Do you perform outside of Wiltshire? Will you do private parties in someone's house? Can you do restaurant magic? All of these questions can be FAQs. But then those FAQs can all link to blogs, and that's really helping with the link juice. That's really helping with kind of the SEO side of your business and getting more and more people to find out who you are and what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the website, the good news is, outside of a video, which we're obviously working on, but outside of a video, the website is pretty much done. It's looking great. It's looking awesome, in fact. And the social media is in hand, which is amazing. So now the next step is getting people to go onto it. So have you had any leads yet?
Yes. That's what I was going to mention next. But
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm very excited. I'm very excited that we've gone in just a few weeks from you not even having a presence on the internet to having a kick-ass website, and you're getting people inquiring for your services. Jess, this is amazing. I'm so
yeah.
happy for you. Go on, right.
I'll just find it. It's easier to find on my phone. Yesterday, someone filled in my Wix form saying, "Hi Jess, I found your videos on social media and I think you are great. Are you available for a Christmas party on 28th November? This would be a mixture of probably close-up for an hour and a 20 to 30-minute stage show with a few Christmas-themed magic." Although he could be anywhere, so it might not be possible, because if he found me on social media, he might be
You
anywhere in
could,
the country.
yeah, it could be. Hang on, where do you let me just look at your contact form here. Just 1 minute. Yeah, you know what I would do as well on that. Did he inquire through your contact form? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you see the contact form here? I would include an
Yeah.
extra field, which is where are you, or where are where location of event or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can do one of two things. It's completely up to you. To make it easy for people, you could put a drop down menu of where you're happy to go to perform for. So did I see a map somewhere on your website?
That was on the Google Business.
Ah, right, okay.
Well, the problem is I need to change that because it kind of goes too far south and not far enough east.
Okay.
And I
Well,
don't
you
know how
could
to change that
have
really.
like a drop down menu of areas that you're happy to perform in. So I don't know, it might be Swindon, Bristol, Bath, I don't know. I'm guessing because I don't know that area of the country very well, but you know
Yeah, that's fine.
those, yeah, Western Supermare, those sort of areas. So you could have um, a drop down menu of all the places, and then at the bottom of the drop down menu, you could have other. And then when they click on other, what would happen is you could have other, please specify. So if they click on other, it would come up with another box that says, where is the event? You can do it that way. So you can have a drop down menu, or you can just have a box that says location of event. And they just type it in. But the problem is, sometimes people are stupid and they might type it in, and they might. I used to do that. I used to have a thing that people could type in. I was like, where location of event, and they'd type in my house, the back garden, stuff like this. And it's like, well, that's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard, isn't it? So I try to be a little bit more specific with it. So if you see slightly unusual, boom, and we click on the contact form. And we wait for the thing to open up. There we go. Where's the event? I've got where's the event, and I've got it broken down into different areas. Now we're in national, so obviously I've got all the areas, but um, but yeah, that's the way you get around that, because obviously you don't know where they are. But
yeah,
okay, so when this came through yesterday, have you done anything with it?
no, not yet.
Okay, cool. So I think for the next 20 minutes, we should talk about sales in terms of, we briefly touched on impulse factors, didn't we, last week? But we didn't really kind of get deep into sales. So here's the most important thing that you need to understand is your goal, your website's goal is to get people to fill in a contact form. That's what the website's done. All of the stuff that you do on social media, all of the videos that you do, all of the photos that you do, everything that you do from a marketing point of view is designed to get people to fill in that form. You want them to contact you. Now, when they fill in that form, it switches from a marketing activity to a sales activity. At that point, you have a new goal. When somebody fills in that contact form, your goal is to take those people's details and do whatever you can to turn them into a booking. Right? Now, did they give you a phone number?
An email.
Just an email address.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you can't phone them. Step number one, if you get a phone number, always follow it with a phone call, because it's easier to try and sell people on what you do over the phone than it is by email, but not everybody will leave a phone number. So in this case, we don't have a phone number, we just have an email address, which is fine. So one of the biggest things that I can tell you is get back to people as soon as possible. I can't tell you how annoying and frustrating it is if you've had an inquiry and you email them back and you've left it a day, and they come back to you and they go, thanks, but I've already booked somebody else. It's so annoying, because then you think to yourself, well, I could have had that booking. It could have been mine if I'd have just operated a bit quicker. So you want to try and get back to people as soon as possible. Now, we'll talk about ways of automating that down the road, but at the moment, you don't have enough inquiries to automate it, so it's not important. So you want to get back to them as soon as possible. So, because they might be inquiring for other people as well. Sometimes when people, now it sounds to me that this person that's inquired for you, they're sold on you because they've said, hey, I've seen you on social media, I really like your videos. And here's a tip, by the way. Typically, when people inquire, and I think I mentioned this to you, but I can't remember, I might not have, so I'll say it again. Typically, when people inquire, they lead with one of two questions. The first question is, are you available? And the second question is, I would like to know your prices, or what are your prices, or something like that. Those are the only real two things that people want to know. If people come in with, I want to check prices for this date, or can you give me the price for that date, or whatever the case may be, that kind of tells you that the most important thing to them is price.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is they're probably going to be contacting other people, and you're going to be competing on price, which is fine. That happens sometimes. With that scenario, you want to show why you're maybe not the cheapest. You want to show them why you're the best person to book. But it's nice to know that. But when the email that you had, it very much, they didn't mention about price really. They mentioned about availability. They said, hey, it's the 28th of November. It's going to be a mixture of close up and stage, which also suggests they've looked at the website enough to know what you do, because you've got stage options on there, you've got close up options on there. They've said they like your videos on social media. They've talked about what it is that they're specifically looking for. So I think they've watched your website, they've looked at your website, they've taken in what you have, what you've said, which also suggests to me that they are going to be within your catchment area. Now, you don't know 100%, but you're very clear on that website about the fact that you're based in Wiltshire.
Yeah.
So I think that they're probably going to be within the area in which you want to perform. You're not going to know for sure, but going in and knowing that ahead of time. So they're sold on you. As far as I can see, there's a very good chance that these people are sold on having you at their event, which is good. Did they say it was a corporate event, Jess? I can't remember. What did they say?
They said, they said a Christmas party. So it could be,
Christmas
it could
party.
not
That's
be.
probably a corporate
Yeah.
Christmas party, especially November, because
Okay.
corporate starts having their Christmas parties in sort of mid-November these
Okay.
days, especially people in organizations that are really busy in December. You'll tend to find that a lot of people will have corporate Christmas parties end of November, January. So that's your average family Christmas party gathering type thing. They wouldn't be having it in November. It's unlikely. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that's a corporate Christmas party. You might want to, you don't have to, but you might want to put down as a thing on your contact form, what type of event is it? Corporate,
Okay.
wedding, private party? Because the more information you have, the better it is when you're replying to them. So what I would do is, remembering everything I told you about on the last session about sales technique and making sure that you're impulsing people. And we're going to go more into sales technique maybe next week. But with that in mind, you want to send an email back that kind of sells you. Now, one thing that you have to understand is you want to try and get away from saying stuff that every other magician uses.
Mm.
So, there's certain things that, I'm going to do some amazing magic tricks. Yeah, so is every other magician. I'm going
Yeah.
to, whatever the case may be, you want to try and make it as unique as possible. So I'd start off by replying, be super friendly, but at the same time professional. Whatever the guy's name is, let's say his name's Mick. Hey, Mick, thanks so much for your email. I'm really glad that you like my videos on social media. I put a lot of time and effort into them. So it's nice to know that it's appreciated, or something like that. So it's kind of conversational. You come back to them. You've shown that you've kind of read their email, and you're thanking them and so on and so forth. And then come back to them and say, I've looked at my diary, and the good news is I am available on the 28th, depending on the location and the time that you're looking for. As you can imagine, the Christmas period is a very busy time of the year for me. And so I sometimes perform at several bookings in one day, or something along those lines. So you want to make out that it's not 100% surefire that you're available, and you think you are, but it's very much dependent, which it is. It's very much dependent. If he came back to you and said, I'm in Abergavenny, or I'm in, like Edinburgh, you're not going to be able to do the gig, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're lying, you're telling the truth. I am available depending on the time and depending on the location of where the event would be. Then you're going to go into what you talked about close-up magic and stage, and you're going to say close-up magic and stage. You mentioned having some close-up magic and a short stage show as well. That's a very common request with people booking Christmas parties. And again, what you're doing there is you're using sheep factor. Remember, I talked to you about sheep factor, show how everyone else
Yeah.
pays. this is an example of sheep factor, because you're saying it's a very common request amongst people that book Christmas parties. In other words, I do this sort of thing all the time, and that's the sort of thing that people ask me about constantly. But you're saying it without actually saying it, right? So you say, hey, close-up magic and a short stage show, that's not a problem at all. It's a very common request amongst it's a very common request, especially people that are booking Christmas parties. And then say, I can start with close-up magic, which is a great icebreaker, very, very interactive, and will get people all excited and hyped up for later on when I perform the stage show. The show is also interactive and fun, and everyone in the audience will have a fantastic time, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then go back to them and say, give them a price. You've got two options here, and there's two schools of thought, and there's no right or wrong answer. You could go in and you could say, I can give you a price, but I just want to check to say I'm definitely available first of all. Could you give me the location of the event and the time that you would need me to perform? Thanks very much. I look forward to hearing from you, and I very much hope that we can organize this, because it'd be great to perform at your event or something along those lines. So that's the one way of doing it, which is not giving them a price and saying, I need this information first, because I can't guarantee I'm going to be available until I've got this information. And that's kind of putting them on the back foot. That's like, oh my gosh, she might not be available. I was really hoping to have her at my event. So that's the first way of doing it. The second way of doing it is to give them the price, but say it's very much dependent on your availability. So say, hey, the price to have me for both close-up magic and stage is blah. However, that's very much dependent on my availability. Would it be possible for you to give me a date and time? And sorry, not a date and time. Would it be possible to give me the location of the event and the time that you're looking for, and I can check to make sure that I'm available?
Yeah.
Either way is fine. Now, in an ideal world, you would drop a link through to a video in there. So you could say, just in case you wondered, here's a video, here's a link to my show reel, so you can see the sort of thing that I do. I mean, he's already seen your social media videos, which is great. So, there's not too much to worry about there, but this is another reason why we need a show reel as soon as possible. Now, in terms of pricing, I always advocate, and this is have you ever heard of Ken Dine? Ken Dine?
No.
Based up in sort of Newcastle area, very well-known mentalist, but also an incredible entrepreneur and marketer. And he has this thing called the ninja pricing strategy, which is a really cool concept. And it's the idea of having 3 packages. So in your case, the 3 packages could be close-up magic, stage magic, and close-up and stage magic. And or it could be close-up magic for 1 hour, close-up magic for 2 hours, stage magic. It could be anything like that. But having 3 packages, and the idea is, so let's say you had close-up, stage, and close-up and stage. You could say, right, okay, so I have 3 package options for you. Package number 1 is close-up. To have me come along to perform an hour of close-up magic, for example, the cost will be X. And then you say, now package number 2 is the stage option. To have me perform a stage show at your event, the cost would be X. And what you do is you obviously put the cost a lot higher on a stage show, because less people can do stage magic that can do close-up magic. But put the price higher. And the reason you put the price higher is because with this strategy, you can have the third option, close-up and stage. And you can say, the third option is close-up and stage. And the special offer I've got at the moment is if you book the stage show, I'll throw the hours close-up magic in for free. So, for example, let's say you were charging £300 for close-up. Let's say you were charging £5 million for stage or whatever. Let's say you were charging £700 for stage. So you're charging £300 for close-up, £700 for stage. You price the stage show at a price where you're happy to do close-up in that price as well. So then you say the close-up magic is £300 for an hour. The stage show is £700 for a half an hour stage show. But if you book the stage show at £700, I'll throw the close-up magic in for free, which means that you're paying £700 and you have me do close-up magic ahead of time and the stage show later on. So they think like they're having a great deal because they're getting exactly what they want, and they think the close-up magic is thrown in for free. But in reality, you've set the stage price at a price that you're happy to have that go out at and still do close-up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the other way that this strategy can work as well is if you have a desirable thing that you want to do. So let's say you wanted to do, okay, try to give an example here. Let's say that you really like doing 3 hours of close-up magic. Okay, let's say you really like the idea of doing close-up magic for 3 hours. You could have 3 packages, which is Package A, close-up magic for an hour. Package B, close-up magic for 2 hours. Package C, close-up magic for 3 hours. And you could say, for example, close-up magic package for 1 hour is £300. Then you have a big jump to the second hour. So you say, but not that big a jump. So you say close-up magic for 2 hours is £450. And then you say close-up magic for 3 hours, and you put a very small extra amount on. Close-up magic for 3 hours is £500. That's pushing people to do the £500 because they're probably thinking 1 hour isn't enough. So they'll go for 2 hours, and 2 hours is £450, but it's only an extra 50 quid to get the extra hour. Oh, I may as well do that. Have you ever had that? Like you go into a shop. I did it last night in Uber. Last night, I put an Uber Eats order in from the supermarket because we got back from Blackpool late and we needed fruit and stuff for the kids. So I was putting an Uber Eats order in with Sainsbury's so they could bring it over. And as I was putting this Uber Eats order in, it kept flashing up. Do you want this as well? And you can have this, and we'll throw this in for free. And I'm like, I'll go on then. I'll do that because yeah, that sounds like a good deal. The kids will eat it. Boom, 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 boom. And I end up buying a load of crap that I wasn't even anticipating I was going to buy. That's basically what this pricing strategy is. So you can make it so it becomes, oh, why don't we just have that extra hour? It's only an extra 50 quid, and then, whatever the case may be. So I've always been a big advocate of having those 3 packages, and you can see that on my website. If you go onto my website, boom, and you look at weddings, you can see the bronze package is 1 magician performing close-up magic for 2 hours. The silver package is 2 magicians performing close-up magic for 2 hours. And the gold package is the grand stage illusion package and 2 people performing close-up magic for 2 hours. So, and when they get the emails, we kind of delve deep into this and we say you're getting the close-up magic package for free. So that's the strategy I'm telling you to use here. This is actually a strategy that I use myself. So you can go in there and you can give them the price for the various different packages, or you can ask them for the details first of all. And it's really important that the first thing that you do whenever you get an inquiry is you check availability. That's the most important thing, because when you check availability, because checking availability does 2 things. First of all, you need to check availability. It's very irritating when you've spent 45 minutes pitching back and forth to a client and they go, yeah, go on then, I'll book. And then you realize that you're not available for the date in question. And it's like, oh, I've just gone through all of this for fucking nothing. It's really irritating. But second of all, it builds fear of loss as well, because if you come back to them and you go, well, I might not be available, It is a very busy time of the year. I just need to check to see if I'm available, first of all. Can you give me the exact postcode for the location so I can see whether I can get to it or not? It becomes, it's yeah, it becomes easier to impulse them to take the booking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when they come back to you, and I have a feeling they will because they want you, when they come back to you, remember the important thing, which is it's an old sales an acronym, but it holds true even to this day. A, B, C. Always be closing. So did I talk about closing last week where I said, hey, it's the thing that you say to push them over the edge, or did I not? I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
think so, no.
okay. So when you in sales, and we'll get more into sales strategy next week, but in sales, um, the thing that you say at the end to get them to put pen to paper or get them to agree to whatever it is that you're selling them is the close. So, for example, it might be, hey, should I go ahead and book this in for you and secure the slot? Or, hey, I've only got one slot left available. Shall I go ahead and book that in for you? Or something like that. Asking them a direct question that gets them to give you a yes or a no answer, right? Um, and there's lots of different types of closes. So, for example, a very popular close amongst a lot of salespeople is the assumptive close. Um, if you've been to the Blackpool Magic Convention, and I know you have, Jess, you've
Mm.
definitely seen magic dealers that have done an assumptive close. It would probably be like, would you like this trick, or would you like to go ahead and get both of them and I'll give you a discount? That's an assumptive close. You're assuming that they're going to buy something. Now the question becomes, what is it that you're going to buy, right? That's an example of an assumptive close. There's lots of different types of closing. The problem that a lot of people have when they're doing sales, especially over email, is they talk too much. They keep giving information, and what happens is you almost drive them away from the sale. That's where the ABC comes in. Always be closing. So imagine that you've got a graph like this, okay, down the left axis, down the vertical axis, is the how impulse they are, how impulse they are to go ahead and book you. Then along the horizontal axis, that's time, the amount of time that you've spent talking to these people. What happens if you imagine that graph is you start off at zero. So you start off at the very bottom of the graph and they're not impulsed at all, but you've spent no time on it. And then what happens is if you give them the correct information and you're impulsing them and you're using the impulse techniques that I told you about last week, what happens is as the time goes on, they become more and more impulsed and the line kind of goes like this on the graph. Now, what happens is this is called an impulse curve because what will happen is eventually it will do that because once you get to a certain point, you've given them too much information. And then at that point, it's going to drop off and it's going to head the other way, right? You need to stop that before it drops off. And
Yeah.
that's why you close. You want to close as possible, as close as possible to the top of the impulse curve. So you want to say at some point in the back and forth, shall I go ahead and book that in for you? Now, they're either going to come back and say yes or they're going to say no. If they say no, they don't necessarily, well, they're not going to say no. Nobody ever says no. They will typically request more information, and no is not a no, and no is a request for more information. So if they came back to you and they said, "Oh, you've quoted £300. I've spoke to somebody else and they wanted 250. Can you negotiate on the price?" That's not them saying no. That's them. This is now negotiation. So you can then turn around to them and you can. I'm not going to get into this too much right now. We'll get into this next week. But you can turn that negative. When somebody says no to you, it's not a no, it's a negative. And you can turn the negative and then you can re-impulse them and you can close them again. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm stopping at that point. The point I'm trying to make is get back to them immediately. When we finish this call, get back to them immediately.
Mm.
Write them a nice email back. Make it fun. Make it the email that you send should be an extension of you. So look at how you come across in your social media videos. Look how you come across in your pictures. Look how you come across on the website and in the about us section, and make that an extension of you. So when you reply in your voice, so that when people read it, they can feel that it's Jess Howard magician that was replying to them. So send them a really nice email that sounds like Jess. Um, cover everything and either give them a price or ask for a bit more information. And I guarantee you that, look, here's the other thing. Not everybody will book in. Just because you've had an inquiry doesn't mean it's a booking,
Yeah.
but it's a numbers game. The more inquiries you get, the more bookings you're going to get. And the fact that literally after 5 or 6 sessions, you've gone from not even having a website to having a website that's generating inquiries, that's pretty exciting, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I realize I've just spent the last 35 minutes talking a lot. So hopefully it all made sense. Do you have any other
Yeah.
questions, Jess?
In terms of pricing, yeah, I we emailed some people like you said last week, but the problem
Mhm.
is that the only two people who got back with an actual price was like people with lots of experience, if you know what I mean. So I don't really know how to price it to be a good price considering experience, but also, yeah,
Don't forget, you're going to have magicians out there that tell you you should not undercharge. This is your business. This is not their business. You have an advantage over a lot of people. A lot of people that run a magic business that are full-time magicians, they probably have a family to pay for. They probably have a mortgage or rent that they have to pay. You don't have a lot of those expenses. You're a schoolgirl, and you live at home, right? So you have less expenses, which is great, which means that you can reflect that. And also, you've never done a gig before.
yeah,
And even though you're very, very good at magic, and I know you are because I've seen you, and even though you're going to get a lot of experience, you've never done a gig before. So there's no harm in quoting lower and then building it up over time. That's absolutely not a problem. I mean, the only negative with that is if you charge somebody, say, for example, 150 quid to go and do close up, which is lower than the industry average, but you're happy with 150 quid because it's, you're going back to school tomorrow. Let's say you charged 150 quid for an hour and a half of close up magic. Uh, uh, if you spoke to any of your friends at school and said, I'm going to go and do 90 minutes of close up magic and they're going to give me £150 for it, they who are probably working in McDonald's for like whatever it is an hour would go, holy shit, Jess, really? Fucking hell. Like they would, right? So sometimes
yeah,
magicians just they need to get out their own way. You've never done a gig before. You um are you don't have many expenses, and the more people you perform in front of, the more reviews you're going to get, the better the social proof, the more people are going to be raving about you online, the more experience you've got, the better the performer you're going to be. We talked about that ACE strategy, assets, cash, experience. So what I'm basically trying to say here is don't feel like you need to charge the same as somebody who's been doing it for 20 or 30 years. You will get that advice on Facebook. You will go into places like the Magic Cafe and Magicians Only, and you'll have some dickhead turning around to you and saying, well, you shouldn't be charging less than £600 an hour. But the problem is, you've never done this before, and you're new, and you're wanting to get experience, and you don't have any expenses. So I would say, pick a figure out that makes you go, that's not too bad. When I did my first paid gig, I was only slightly older than you are now. God, I'm old. I was 18,
yeah,
and I charged £75 for a 45-minute parlor show, and they threw in a dinner. And I thought, oh my God, this is just the best thing ever. And I was over the moon. I was ridiculously happy. So just bear that in mind. You now, as I say, the only negative to that is that if you're charging people less now, in 2 years' time, when you're getting so many inquiries and you've put your prices up, because you will put your prices up, that they might come back to you and go, "Oh, I want to book you again. We booked you 2 years ago, and you charged us 100 quid, for example." And you go, "Yeah, my price is £500 now." And they'd be like, "Well,
mm,
that's a bit of an increase." And you go, "Well, I'm no longer at school. I'm doing this full time. This is it's
yeah,
and you might lose some of those older clients if you don't." But that's not a problem, because here's the thing: this is how putting your prices up works. You set a price that you're happy with, and that's the most important thing, Dress. Set a price that you're happy with, so that you're not pissed off, right? When the money comes in. So set a price that you're happy with, and then start getting the inquiries in. Now, when you get to a point that you're having to turn inquiries away at that price because there's so many inquiries coming in and you just can't deal with all of them and you're telling loads of people I'm not available, that is when you put your prices up. And you will
Yeah.
lose somebody. You will lose some of those inquiries. Some of those people that were booking in, they won't book in because they go, "Oh, you're a bit expensive. I wasn't expecting it to be that much. Oh well, that's my price." So you're going to be booking less gigs in, but they're going to be at a higher price. So you're going to be making the same amount of money, or if not a bit more. And
Yeah.
then, but then what will happen is you'll find a new bunch of customers and inquiries that are coming in at that price. And over the course of a year, 2 years, however long it will be, you'll get to the point where you're now chocker and you're turning a load of people away at that new price. So guess what you do? You do it again. You put the prices up again, and you're going to lose a few people, and you just keep doing that. It's kind of like an elevator. It's like a bump, 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 bump. But to start with right now, don't listen to anybody else. Think of a price that you would be happy with. You know, if they give you an envelope of cash when you've done the gig, or they pay it into your bank account, or whatever it may be, and they say, "Look, here's the money for the gig," you go, "Oh, I did an hour's work for that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's fine." And then that will allow you to go out at a price that you're happy with. You can invest that back into the business if you want to, but also at the same time, it's going to give you, you can then get more and more experience. And I think you should price it to get more experience, because that's the one thing you haven't got right now. You need to be going out and performing to as many people as possible, because the more people you perform in front of, the more experience you're going to be. I've said it over and over again. Flight time. Flight time is the most important thing. The more you're going out and performing, the absolute best you're going to be. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Not for this week, but I realized about halfway through that I was meant to remind you about restaurants at the start. So could we talk about that next week, maybe?
Remind me at the beginning. Yes.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
forget this. Yes, I'll be honest with you. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning, let alone what we talked about a week ago. But yes, next week, remind me, and we'll go straight into restaurants and we'll talk all about restaurants. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Jess,
Thank you.
it's amazing. Like, genuinely, think about it. You're performing at Rugeley. We're going to get you a kick-ass show reel. You've gone and done this gig. You've done your first stage show. You've got a website. Your social media. You didn't even have a social media account for your for your magic, and now you do. People are finding you on social media. They're putting inquiries through your website. Killing it. Killing it. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Guys, do me a favor. Let Jess know what you think in the comments down below. And also, seriously, if you're in the same situation as Jess, you need to be using Jess as a blueprint, because she's doing absolutely everything right. And you can see that it's very, very simple. Effort versus reward. The more you put in, the bigger the reward's going to be. And you can see this happening in real time with Jess. Jess, thank you so much for joining me. Guys, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to join the Netrix, and I will see you again next week. On behalf of the incredible Jess Howard, my name is Craig Petty, and this has been Magic TV.